Hey everybody, it's Scott Steehn. I'm with winnersandwhiners.com. I am the lead handicapper though over there at winnersandwhiners.com and as well as our sister site, statsalt.com. Winnersandwhiners.com is the number one site in the world for predictive sports analysis on sporting events going on in America every single day. If you haven't checked it out, please do yourself a favor and stop by winnersandwhiners.com or our sister site, statsalt.com, for deep dives into every game going on every single day. And if you like what I'm doing here, want to get yourself some more picks, I do have a premium service available. I will put the link up in the description of this video. Love to have you on the team, especially as we get ready for bowl season here. We're going to probably be doing a pick on every bowl game, so it's a good time to be a premium subscriber. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's Monday Night Football contest between the Indianapolis Colts and the New Orleans Saints. Saints 9-point home favorite in this one. Well, kids, the Indianapolis Colts have come thudding back to earth with a spate of recent injuries. They've lost 5 of their last 6. And they've dropped to 6-7, and have also dropped out of realistic playoff contention there in the AFC. Meanwhile, the Saints, well, you might have seen it. They dropped a heartbreaker to the Niners last week, but now they get a shot to move back into a 3-way tie with Seattle and Green Bay for the number 1 seed there in the NFC playoffs. Now, while Jacoby Brissett may Jacoby Brissett in the receiving corps may be without Hilton and they're going to be a step behind. Even with Hilton, they're probably going to be a step behind San Francisco. But they're just a 30-yard per game difference in the passing, so not quite as big a gap as you'd think. Because the Niners last week, they showed how vulnerable this Saints pass defense can be. Brissett has done his best to find new targets after losing Hilton, tight end Eric Ebron, and the new talented rookie that he was just starting to develop chemistry with. Paris Campbell is now on the shelf for a while. Last week, he threw the ball to 8 different receivers. His offensive line is very good. They've done a good job of protecting him in the pocket, giving up just 25 sacks. That is 8th best in the NFL. They do run the ball well, especially with Marlon Mack finally being healthy. It looks like he's over that broken hand. He's run for 900 yards on the season with 5 touchdowns in 11 games. And the Colts overall average 133.5 yards per game on the ground. Just fine right there. Like I said, he finally appears to be healthy after he missed a couple of games. Last week it looked like he was still feeling the effects just a little bit. But the Saints, they have a kind of a Jekyll and Hyde rush defense. They're 4th in the NFL in yards per game, but that's not always what you want to look at. I'm more of a fan of yards per carry, and the Saints come down 17th in yards per carry. And I think what we're finding out there is that teams get behind early against these high-flying offense, and they end up abandoning the run and end up throwing the ball more than they anticipated. So that's going to keep your yards per game down. But the yards per carry, I think that's more of a true measure of how this defense is. I'll tell you what, the Saints probably didn't hear much about him, but return man Deontay Harris had his best game as a pro last week. He had 213 all-purpose yards. He had 1 rush for 8 yards. He had 1 reception for 13. He had 5 kickoff returns for 155 yards and 2 punt returns for 37 yards. I don't think there's any truth to the rumor that at halftime he sold 4 Dome Dogs and 3 Big Easy IPAs to somebody there in Section 106. But the Indianapolis kicker is Roberto Sanchez, and should keep Harris from a lot of opportunities there as far as big returns goes. He's got 59 touchbacks in 65 kickoffs kicking there in the Dome. I don't expect much to be returned in this one. I think he comfortably is able to keep that out of Harris's reach. So do keep an eye on him on punt returns, though. This kid is very dynamic, very shifty, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him break one for 25 or more yards on a punt return. Now, one Steehn who did struggle last week was running back Alvin Kamara. 13 carries, just 25 yards. Luckily, ex-Raider Latavius Murray was able to pick up the slack. He rushed 7 carries for 59 yards. And no doubt that Breeze got to be licking his chops after seeing famous Jameis Winston light up the Colts pass defense last week for 456 yards. I think the Saints, I think they get the win here. But the Colts, you know what? They have an annoying habit of sticking around. The 6 of their 7 losses have come by 7 points or less. The only one that was more than that, they lost by 14 to Tennessee without Hilton or Mack in the lineup. In fact, the Colts, well, They are 11-2 against the spread in their last 13 games against teams with winning records. They know how to get up. They don't necessarily know how to win, but they can make you sweat. Now the Saints, in spite of what you may think about that great home field advantage, it's not really an ATS advantage there in the Superdome, as they've gone just 12-14 against the number at home in their last 3 years, including 3-4 on this season. I think the Saints get the win. I think they retake that three-way tie for the number 1 seeds, but I think the Colts, I think they sneak in for the cover. So get yourself down on the Indianapolis Colts plus those 9 points. You guys can join me at the end of this one, pick up our winning ticket. We will head back to the window. All right, guys, really appreciate you watching today. If you would, be so kind, give us a thumbs up on the video if you dig what we're saying. And if you really like it, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Good luck on all of your plays today, and we will see you next time. Take care.